You guys have been asking for a cinematic video shot entirely on an APS-C camera with a kit lens. This is a $550 setup, and this is what you can do with that. I am here to get my friend Jonas. You wanna enter the frame? He is riding a mountain bike. The idea that I got was that we are going to make some kind of commercial for this bike and riding a mountain bike. I don't have anything written down. Everything that you saw in the video is like on the spot ideas. My thought with the first scene that we're gonna have is that Jonas is gonna like drag his bike through the water puddle, I think that is how you say it. And I'm gonna shoot this in 60 frames per second, and then I'm gonna shoot at manual focus for this entire shoot, I think. And since this lens is a 3.5 to 5.6 aperture, we want to stay at the widest, and that is gonna be at 16 millimeters, because if we go up to that like narrower focal length, then we're not only gonna close the aperture, but we're also gonna get a lot more shake introduced in our videos. Let's get the first shot. Shot. Yes, go. So what you want to do when you're shooting in manual focus is to activate the focus peaking in your camera, because when you do that you get these like red dots that indicates what is in focus and what is not in focus in your shot. So I have focus peaking activated, and I'm using the manual focus ring here on the lens, and if I want to zoom, I'm going to use the power zoom. We're gonna do a couple of more takes to make sure that we get this right, because it looks really good, and I just want to have the perfect take, right? And I'm looking like Spider-Man, I know. Like, ho! 3, 2, 1, kör! Felt good. All right, let's enter the forest. So, like, the first shot is gonna be like the establishing shot that tells us where we are and what we're going to do, because we introduced the bike and you could see the environment as well. So that's going to be the wide establishing shot. Now we're going to go up here in the forest, maybe get some more detailed shots of the bike, you know, going in the gravel or dirt, I don't know. The most important thing when you're shooting any kind of video or photo, it's going to be the same things. Oh, nej! Nej, jag skojar bara. Is the exposure, because you want to get as good exposure as you can in camera, and this camera doesn't have any kind of picture profiles or anything like that, so this is just standard profile, trying to get the best exposure that I can with the help that I can get from the camera. Now we're gonna get those detailed shots, and I want to have like the camera movement following his movements when he drags down the helmet, when he leans over to grab the brakes and stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna shoot right now. Oh! That was good. We played around with the foreground, which is the handle of the bike, and then we played around with the movement as well, as Jonas was grabbing his helmet and dragging that down, and then his idea was to like lean in front to the brakes, which made the whole sequence feel fluid, you know? So play around with movement. So we want to have like a couple of more detailed shots, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do some like smooth pannings like this. Since we got a lot of black stuff or dark stuff in the frame, you want to up the exposure to make sure that that is the correct exposure and not the like white stuff or the sky if you have that in your background. try to keep as steady as you can. I'm sorry if it's a little windy, but you know, that's how it is.
Jag hänger med hela foten och min häl kommer.
Ska vi se.
Där.
Ja. Och när lägger du upp den?
Här någonstans.
Så där. Häng kvar då. Du behöver inte göra det överdrivet snabbt.
Nej.
Men ändå en ganska schysst liksom tempo. Go. Yes. Oh. We're gonna keep that. Okay, so I'm also gonna try to get a detailed shot with a sun flare because the sun just came out. So we're gonna like a smooth pan like that. And then see if we can get the sun flare to like hit us right where we want to. We're gonna get some shots of Jonas actually riding the bike, going down here, jumping, a couple of those shots to make the whole sequence a bit more like action-packed. When I'm gonna get these shots, I want to try to shoot at a longer focal length to make it more compressed, and I want to have like the feeling of actually having a handheld camera this time around. So like now I'm not gonna try to keep it as steady as I can, and I'm also going to try to use the trees and the ground as my foreground in each and every shot that I take of Jonas riding the bike, because as you know, like from our other videos, foreground will make your videos look way more professional really fast. It's like super simple tip that I highly recommend you to use. Oh nej! We're halfway in and it starts to rain. Gothenburg, you know. I want to try to get as many shots of Jonas jumping this jump to make sure that we can like get it to be a feeling of a lot of different jumps. So trying to get a lot of different angles, a lot of different focal lengths. Right now I'm going to shoot it wide, so we're going to stay at 16 millimeters. So now I'm gonna try to get a lot of detailed shots of Jonas riding the bike in the dirt. So I'm gonna try to like be focusing on the actual ground and the tires of the bike to make sure that we can like interconnect those two. See if we can shoot this at 50 millimeter. I do have to crank up the ISO to somewhere around like 1000, 1600. It's always better to get too many shots than too few shots. So right now we're gonna try to get a shot of Jonas like ripping up the dirt so it goes up like that, and then as the sun is coming down I'm gonna try to get a sun flare like right there so it looks kind of cool. Hopefully it will, I don't know, but let's see how it turns out. So now we're gonna try to get the finishing shot of the whole thing, and to do this, basically Jonas is going to like come towards the camera, and then I'm gonna like slowly rise the whole thing. The main thing that you got to think of when you're shooting stuff like this, especially when doing it handheld, is to move as slowly as you possibly can. Okay. And again, always use foregrounds to your advantage. I'm gonna use this rock right here. Oh, the shot! Oof. Dang. den kan bli bra alltså. We nailed that at the first take, so it looks really, really good.